Um, my name is Nora, I she, her pronouns. I am an Asian woman wearing a black dress, a checkered red shirt, glasses, and a black hat. I have short cropped black hair, and my background is blurred. And for you all today, I have 3 poems. Thank you so much for coming. Okay. This first poem is called River. I met God in the river, waist deep in the calamity of minnows. Below the waters, cold. River picks her fingers through my hair, wilds this crown into a petulance of ink. River warbles against my skull like a blank trumpet. There is a pulse here, if you can feel it. Peril your hand against the dark rush, rocks where you are made mortal, silt made of those who were. Above, the sound of metal is honest. It cries out for peace. Please, it says, please come back. God begs me to show my teeth. God says to kill my terror. God holds my breath. I come into this world ready to do horrible things for the sake of my life. This next poem is titled A History of Tongues. It is a mechanic of the body, the scrawl of violence carved on the vellum of the lip. Say your name, then feel the way it commands your throat. What is a word? A taking of the tongue, a psalmist's possession. Listen close. Press your open mouth hard to the sound of your life in your hand, a palmist's procession. I strike you with an act of the body, by which I mean a sound of the tongue. Else when my grandmother is stroking long calligraphies into my father's spine, the language of our people, from her father and her mother and her father's father and her mother's mother, my father, a good child, my father teaching his eldest to speak on his knee. Do not mistake the owner of my cruelties. I am myself a precocious heritage speaker of maleficence. My father not to blame for my fluency in the body and the way it peels, any more than my mother to blame for my fluency in kana, in perfume, and in love's tiny thefts. When we first learned to speak, God struck Babel down, granted humanity grammar, and the builders, they took the crumbling sound of the tower, crashed it hard into their kindred, native speakers then of cutting. Elsewhen still, Pentecost. A flame flowers above the head of my beloved antecedent, bursts hard like a brutal science, strikes him still across the face, whispers, speak. Him shaking, nodding, taking his daughter, holding her mouth shut with his palm, whispering, I love you. Then fear me. And I have one last poem for you all today. Thank you so much. This poem is titled Sermon. One of my best friends says to me, any poem that doesn't rhyme is just a sermon. She says this in good humor. We both share a specific pattern of creation, daughter of the preacher, son of the king. This is to say, my 11th grade English teacher tells me, you always write from the pulpit. This is to say, forgive me, sometimes I am still my father's son. Thank you so much, everybody.